And we're back here again in this noisy, busy atmosphere, the ideal place to do interviews, really, at the ESPC kind of show floor where all the exhibitors are hanging out and all the attendees are bustling about around us. So we're going to have to speak up, Mark.
Okay, I can handle that.
So I'm sitting here now with Mark Brown from the Cosmos team. What's your official title these days? Program manager, something?
Yeah, principal program manager.
Principal program manager is the official title right now. Okay, great. And you are with Cosmos now. So, fun fact, Mark kind of, well, you know, we've graduated to buddies and friends and all, but you used to be like my dad because you took care of the Azure MVPs before you went to, you did some other things and then wound up in Cosmos.
Right, I think it was the Azure product group lead for the Azure MVPs.
Yeah, or something like that. So when I became an MVP, you were the person who was kind of shepherding the group that I was belonging to.
The official cat herder for
MVPs.
a
cat herder, right? Yeah. Exactly. So in that sense, my dad. But now we're good friends, and we meet up everywhere around the world at conferences, having fun.
Yes.
And so now we're doing that again.
Yeah.
And we're of course going to talk about Cosmos,
yes,
about the product. There has been so many announcements during Ignite and since Ignite,
yep,
and I can't even keep track. And then, in fact, it's almost hard for you to keep track.
It is hard to keep track. There's a lot of stuff. You know, just like the rest of Azure, we are constantly releasing new stuff. We try to center it around big events like Ignite.
Yep.
But you just can't fit it all in, and so we had a whole flurry of announcements at Ignite. There were some big things that customers have been waiting a long time for, and a lot of customers wanted. But we've kept that pace up, and we've just been constantly streaming stuff out since then, too.
All right, so let's break it down. I can't even keep track, so let's help me out.
So first thing we announced was group by support for our SQL API.
And that was a very important piece.
Yeah, customers really, I mean, of course, want to be able to, you know, use a group by for their queries and stuff.
Think?
So yeah, I do think. We think too. So that was something that customers have been waiting a long time on, and we were really happy to be able to announce that. The other one, and this is maybe even bigger, is customers for a very long time have wanted a way for us to automatically manage throughput for their databases.
Oh, I love this.
So we've been, you know, and this is one of the oldest asks we had in user voice was for some sort of auto scale feature where we could monitor their throughput usage and then scale it up or down based upon what the actual needs were for the application. So at Ignite, we also announced a preview for what we call Autopilot, which we kind of borrowed that name from kind of how Databricks, or what Databricks calls it when they do scale up and down.
Well, that makes sense, because I was going to ask, why didn't you call it auto scale?
Yeah, I think we just kind of took a page from that. And
you guys get to, in Cosmos, you get to name your own stuff the way you like.
We pretty much, yeah.
Right? Yes, in fact.
I don't have anything more to add to that.
Correct.
Just
yes. That's correct, yes.
So the idea here is
Autopilot.
Like Autopilot, you go and sign up for the preview and enable your account, and then create a new container, and instead of fixed reserved throughput, you select auto scale, and then you select different tiers of throughput, and we will scale your container up or down to that maximum and then back down again automatically, so you don't have to manage that yourself.
The theory is if you have lots of users, then a lot of demand, you get more power, and when it's like a slow weekend, it's scaling down to less.
Yeah, and here's the thing, customers have applications and they can have unpredictable needs.
That's always going to happen.
They could get a spike in traffic, and it could be for whatever reason,
or just have this weekly kind of cycle period. So like in the weekdays, maybe there's a lot of traffic, a lot of demand. During the weekend, maybe much less usage, that sort of thing.
If customers can predict the demand, then they can easily go and raise and lower the throughput. So it's less applicable for like a batch type of scenario, and more for just unpredictable burst of
something mad happens.
Exactly, exactly. And they don't want to have retries. They don't want to slow down. They want to be able to serve all those requests and not have to think about it, right? So anyway, so we're really happy about that. That's in preview now. Customers can go and sign up for the preview and create a new container and test away and play with that.
See how it goes.
We'll GA that sometime next year, early next year.
Okay.
And then second is we did a bunch of updates for our Jupyter notebooks. So we announced preview for Jupyter notebooks, I think at Build last year, and we've now got that GA, and we're just keep adding more and more features.
So what is a Jupyter notebook?
So you don't know Jupyter notebooks? Okay. So Jupyter notebooks, talk to the camera.
Yeah, no.
These are very popular in kind of the data science world, where they can go and essentially write code to manipulate or report or do something with their data in there.
Yep.
So these
now you had support for it.
This is a very popular tool for being able to do interactive type of work on data.
There you go.
And they're very powerful because you can bring in pip install libraries in there to do things like graphing or ML or frankly pretty much anything under the sun with these things. So they're extremely flexible.
Yep.
And you can share them. As well, which is also really helpful and useful with them. So we just have been adding more and more features to these things, using these SQL magics. So they have these things called magics in there, and they're kind of like, I guess you could call it like a macro kind of, but it provides kind of a shortcut way to be able to do stuff. And for us, we have magics for our SQL API, so you can connect to a database in a container and then run queries against that using these SQL magics that we have in there.
Cool.
And then we have an samples gallery up in there. So you, again, go and create a new account, enable notebooks, and then you'll get some sample notebooks in there. You can play with those, get familiar with them, use them, upload your own notebooks, download notebooks, and play with them. But so they're really fun to use, and they actually, you can make some really pretty graphs and other kind of stuff with them too. So I kind of like those things.
Size, you were talking about ML now, and that brings me on to the topic of size. You guys have increased the capacities again, haven't you? Like you can do really, how big can you make Cosmos databases?
Well, unlimited.
Unlimited, all right.
So we're a horizontally partitioned database, so we don't have kind of that 4 terabyte limit that you would have with, say, a relational data store. So you just continue, we scale out, right? Because we're horizontally partitioned. You don't just create
do you have any unlimited customers, as in really, really massive?
Well, by definition, there's no unlimited customers because they have some limit. But
you think?
But we do have customers that have got large amounts of data, or processing huge amounts of data or throughput needs, if you will, right?
Nice.
So
and because Cosmos is everywhere, like a Ring 0 service, as in that goes into the data centers basically first of all.
Yep.
So you're available in all 54 data centers, and
we're available in every single region that Azure is available.
That's pretty cool.
As a Ring 0 service, we have to be.
Yep.
A lot of services in Azure also just take a dependency on us
of course.
as well, so we have to be there for that reason as well.
Yeah, right. If you're not there, then they can't be there.
That's right. That's right.
Pretty cool. What else? What else is new? So many things.
One other thing we announced was bulk execution support. So we had a bulk executor library that we had written that was a separate library for customers to use. We've now baked that into our .NET SDK, and we're going to add that also to our other SDKs over the coming months or whatever. But bulk execution really allows you to fully saturate the throughput you have. So an idea here is when you do an insert or an update or a delete into Cosmos, that's handled by a thread.
Sure.
If you have to do hundreds of thousands of those things, you need hundreds of thousands of threads to be able to do them.
It's inconvenient.
What bulk does is that it takes and batches all those up and then shoots them all across the wire using a single thread rather than hundreds of thousands of threads. So
you basically have support for that in the SDK, so you as a user don't have to know how that is done.
That's correct. So if you have scenarios where you need to do essentially bulk types of operations, you can really quickly and easily enable bulk support in the connection policy right out of the SDK, and then do all of your bulk operations.
That's really cool.
It's great because it really does allow you to fully saturate all the throughput in your database and be able to utilize that.
And then was that with SQL or for?
Yeah, for our SQL API.
Okay,
right, because this is available through our client SDKs.
Got it. That's really cool.
Yeah. Another one as well is batch support. So batch is also where I want to do bulk operations, if you will, but over a partition key range or over a partition key. Right? So I want to delete a bunch of data with a single partition key value or do some operation on that.
On a large batch,
Yep, so that was another feature that we had in there. And then some more stuff. So we have support for private endpoints. as well.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's great.
Right. So this brand new came out of the networking team. We already have support for service endpoints, for virtual network service endpoints. We now support for the private endpoint support within there as well.
A key feature for many corporations that simply do not want to allow to have an external facing endpoint for their data.
Yep.
And so now you connect it in through to the inside of a VPN.
Yep.
Tunnel, a virtual network inside of that.
Now all the endpoints are completely private now.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Right. So it's just some other stuff from the Ignite. So we had some updates for all of our management stuff, all of our control planes. So big updates to our ARM template support within there. So that was big. And then also we've got in preview now a new version of our Azure CLI. So
really?
for customers,
what's new with that version?
Everything.
Everything is new.
It's all new.
It's all new.
So basically, better support across all the surface area within Cosmos DB.
Good.
So support for all the different database APIs that we've got. Just better support for everything across the board.
Is that your go-to to use the CLI, or you?
Personally, I'm a CLI guy.
You are?
Yeah. So
okay.
I like Bash.
PowerShell for you? All right, you can't comment.
I'm not PowerShell's okay. By the way, we're working on better PowerShell support too.
Yep.
We're hoping to come out with a preview on that sometime early next calendar year.
Great.
So in January.
So the
sometime.
automation story with the better ARM support and the new version of the CLI. All up automation.
Just a better automation DevOps story for Cosmos. And this is what customers are asking for this. They want to be able to manage their Cosmos environments and their production environments, and it's super important.
It is.
So this is something that we're focused on. More stuff that's happened after Ignite.
Go for it. Keep going.
MongoDB 3.6 support.
Ooh.
Yeah, so...
Well, it's not my cuppa, but I get it for people.
We have a ton of customers that are
using that.
Yeah, they're all Mongo. Right? They come to Cosmos because they want a fully managed database environment. They don't want to run Mongo or manage it on a bunch of VMs.
They don't have to manage it themselves.
Right? We handle all the replication
all
for
that
them.
Stuff,
all of it's all managed for them.
And that's really that's been one of the larger kind of sales pitch points for myself as well. When I think about that, you could go and run your own Mongo stuff and manage it and take care of it and all that, but not only when you get a fully managed service such as Cosmos, instead, first of all, you don't have to manage anything, but second, you get so much more that you never could have built yourself, like replication and all those things that are in the platform.
Right.
And that just blows Mongo out of the water, if you ask me. You know?
I mean, especially if you're comparing it to running it on VMs, absolutely, right? So, and that's the whole idea is you don't want to spend time and effort managing the infrastructure and the environment for these things. Just the only thing you have to focus on is your model, your partition key, in the design of your database, and then just throughput.
And now with that 3.6 support that you mentioned, totally means that the applications that are supporting that version of the protocol, they can't even tell the difference that who they're talking to. The API, it's the same API, so they're just talking to Cosmos and they don't even know.
Yep. So some other things as well for Mongo is we now have support, and we're going to announce this, support for change streams for MongoDB API.
Change streams.
Yeah, so this is a similar feature to what we have with change feed in Cosmos DB. We've now made that available via the change streams interface, which is what Mongo's flavor of that is.
Okay, I see.
So that runs on top of our change feed support for our SQL API.
That's great.
Now available for MongoDB API. And
I did not know this.
We just also announced that support, change feed support for Cassandra API.
Oh, okay, cool.
So lots of great stuff happening with our interop APIs. Not only that, but we also just announced a new private preview feature that customers can contact us and sign up for, but the ability to be able to do a live data migration from on-prem Cassandra into Cosmos. Right, so basically reducing the friction. Yeah, and it's a really interesting technology we've built to be able to do that using essentially an agent that you install on a Cassandra node. And then it essentially acts as a replication agent to and from Cassandra on-prem or wherever into your Cosmos.
It's great. I mean, there are so many features.
Ton of great stuff.
Ton of great stuff. Anything else? Are you done?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I'm having to go through my list because there's just so much stuff.
You have to have an actual list.
I need to write it down.
So many things.
Yeah.
Well. Brilliant. It's been lovely talking to you as always, Mark, and basically signing off again here from the ESPC conference. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.